language in the runes. He was the god that gave them the poetic reed. He was the god that gave them many aspects of what would be considered a sort of noble way of life.
But was Odin perhaps something other than a mythical deity? Could he have actually existed? And if so, how? Ancient astronaut theorists believe clues to Odin's true identity may lie in the myths describing his two ravens, Hugin and Munin.
Odin's ravens were his scouts. They were his research team. Hugin and Munin represent thought and memory. So Odin had these scouts, these spy satellites that would go out and see what he needed to learn for today's activities.
According to Norse legends, every morning Odin sent out his two magical ravens, Hugin and Munin, and at night those ravens would return and he would listen to them and they would tell him everything that they observed throughout the entire day. Scholars believe Odin's two ravens, translated as thought and memory, were simply mythological creations. But is it possible that Hugin and Munin were actually something else? Something perhaps more technological?
Whenever he wanted to observe other worlds, find out what they were doing, he would send these two ravens out, and they would be like spy drones or something, and they would go to these other countries and then come back to Odin and report to him what was going on. And it would seem like what Odin had was some kind of spy planes or spy drones that he was sending out, much as we do today.
The question is whether the Norse really stated that these were ravens, or whether they were instead something else, that they were somehow flying objects. So we have details here of something mythical, of ravens being able to speak to the gods, or the ravens as some kind of spy drone or some other kind of spy satellite technology by which Odin is able to get information.
Could it be that Odin was actually an extraterrestrial explorer, one who sent flying machines, like modern-day drones, to gather intelligence on the ancient Scandinavians? And if so, might there be more evidence of Odin's otherworldly technology contained within other Viking myths?
When Odin sits in Asgard, it's almost like he's got total situational awareness. He's got these ravens who fly out every day and come back and tell him the news of the world, but he can also sit in this high seat.
Odin's high seat, which is a name that basically translates as the watchtower, is a place where he can sit and look out over all the worlds of creation and see everything that's happening in the world.
Is it possible that this high seat, or watchtower, is yet another example of advanced extraterrestrial technology, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest?
Some of these stories that come out of our past of the god Odin and having the ability to actually sit above Midgard, Earth, and see everything from a vast distance. We have to wonder if this isn't actually mythological, but potentially technological. It sounds to me as if Odin was sitting in some type of a captain's chair in a spaceship above the Earth, which allowed him to have this view.
So the moment we have stories of gods needing all this type of equipment in order to find out first what's going on leads me to think that we are not talking about actual gods, but we are talking about space travelers who had access to technology, and our ancestors witnessed all of this and they said, well, obviously these guys are gods.